Earth. The day the Viltrumites arrived changed everything forever. But this time, it wasn't Nolan Grayson who stepped onto the planet first. It was Thragg. The Viltrumites had discovered Earth and its compatible human DNA. Thragg chose a direct, brutal path. No patience, no undercover games, no double life. He personally led the devastating attack on the Guardians of the Globe. He slaughtered them in a public massacre. The world watched in horror. Cecil and every government had no choice but to accept Viltrumite superiority. Resistance was pointless. Submission became the only option for survival. With the planet brought to its knees, Thragg launched the next phase. The breeding program. He selected suitable human women for Viltrumite warriors. Debbie Grayson was assigned to Nolan as his breeding partner. Everything happened under Thragg's watchful eye. He approved every match. Nolan still ended up with Debbie. Mark still grew up in that same family, but nothing else was the same. Nolan never hid his true identity. Mark was never allowed the illusion of a normal life. From the moment he could walk, he was trained as a conqueror. Debbie still loved her son deeply, even while knowing exactly what kind of family she was raising. Thragg noticed Nolan's strange emotional attachment. He allowed it for now, as it didn't affect Nolan's performance or Mark's brutal training. Still, Thragg watched more closely. The children received merciless training from age 3. Mark was no exception. The regimen was ruthless. Under that extreme pressure, Mark unlocked his full powers years earlier. By 17, he was exceptional, so Thragg assigned him his first mission. Mark still attended high school, but as a Viltrumite warrior studying his future subjects, that's where he met Eve. The attraction was immediate and powerful. Their friendship grew fast and deep, even with Rex still in the picture. When Rex cheated on her, Eve turned to Mark for comfort, and their bond quickly turned romantic. Then came the day that shattered everything. Eve accidentally revealed her powers in a moment of vulnerability. The next morning, Mark arrived at school in his Viltrumite uniform. He led a squad of hybrid soldiers to capture her. A savage battle erupted. The school was destroyed. Dozens of innocent lives were lost. Eve watched in horror as the boy she loved revealed his true, terrifying face. She finally understood who Mark really was. She managed to escape with a few friends, but many didn't survive. In this timeline, Mark never played the hero. He was a true Viltrumite warrior. He quickly earned respect from hardened veterans like Lucan and Craig. Thragg watched Mark's rapid rise with approval. This was the perfect specimen the breeding program was meant to create. During one mission, Mark suddenly vanished for several days. When he returned, he told Thragg an incredible story. He had encountered other versions of himself across the multiverse, including one who was gay. Thragg listened carefully. He wondered why Argo's bloodline kept appearing as a pivotal force. What made this particular Mark so special? He decided to test both Nolan and Mark with increasingly brutal missions. Mark couldn't stop thinking about the red-haired girl. Late at night, those thoughts drove him to Debbie's doorstep again and again. The visits became more frequent. He spent time with her, helped her, and told her stories. Nolan eventually joined, even though Thragg had ordered him to stop producing children. Thragg's suspicion grew stronger. The final test was coming. Mark was ordered to lead a strike team against a GDA resistance base. When they breached the facility, a pink energy shield rose. On the other side stood Eve. Tenderness flashed in his eyes. His hand froze above the shield. The Viltrumite soldiers immediately saw weakness. They turned on him, calling him a traitor. Mark snapped. What followed was a horrific bloodbath. He tore through his own team, ripping soldiers apart one by one. The veteran who tried to kill Eve was beaten mercilessly. Even as he lay dying, the old warrior laughed. "I hope your father is not as weak as you." Mark looked at Eve, then flew away at top speed. "I'm sorry." Nolan arrived moments later. He found Debbie standing helpless. Nolan raised his fist to end it quickly, but warm memories made him hesitate. Mark crashed through the roof and slammed his father into the ground. Their brutal father-son battle tore across cities and 3 continents in an emotional, no-holds-barred fight. Then Thragg himself appeared on the battlefield. He looked at Mark with disappointment and shook his head. "I knew you were not worthy of this bloodline." He prepared to finish them both with a single strike. Suddenly a portal ripped open. Anti-Viltrumite drones poured through, unleashing powerful sonic attacks that brought all three Viltrumites to their knees. Eve grabbed Mark and pulled him through the portal to safety. The next few days were pure chaos. Viltrumite forces hunted the rising star, who had now become a dangerous fugitive. Mark joined the resistance, but trust was extremely low. Eve still struggled to believe him completely. Cecil and Robot saw him as a valuable asset, while many other members openly hated him for the friends he'd killed. Meanwhile, Nolan was confused and curious about Thragg's comments regarding the bloodline. He began secretly investigating. He eventually discovered the truth about Argyll's hidden lineage. Conquest was then sent to eliminate Mark once and for all. The savage warrior arrived, eager to test the promising young talent. The fight was brutal and one-sided at first. When Eve tried to intervene, Conquest turned on her with a devastating blow. That triggered something primal in Mark. In a blind rage, he overpowered Conquest, forcing the veteran to retreat in humiliation. Back at the throne hall, Conquest confronted Thragg. Nolan walked in and demanded the truth. Thragg mocked Nolan for his weakness and for hiding the bloodline's secret. Conquest attacked Thragg without warning. The battle was ferocious. When Nolan joined, they gained the upper hand. They escaped as the Empire began to fracture. DNA test results and the recorded conversations spread rapidly. The Viltrumite empires split apart. Veteran warriors openly sided with Nolan and Mark. A brutal civil war erupted, turning Earth into the main battlefield for the future of the entire Viltrumite bloodline. Mark, Nolan, and Conquest led the resistance. Thragg's side had superior numbers, but lacked experienced fighters. The children from the breeding program turned violently against their fathers. In the final, decisive clash, Mark, Nolan, and Conquest faced Thragg in a desperate 3-on-1 battle. Thragg still held the advantage until Conquest abandoned all defense and threw himself into a suicidal, rage-fueled frenzy. Nolan struck from behind while Mark leveled a plagued weapon at Thragg's chest. At the last second, Thragg unleashed his power. The weapon misfired, infecting both Mark and Conquest with the deadly virus. They attacked each other like wild animals. Thragg realized he couldn't win and fled at maximum speed. Conquest tried to chase him, but collapsed, his body giving out. Mark and Nolan had won the war. Mark took the throne of the Viltrumite Empire. He ordered every remaining Viltrumite to leave Earth. He promised the coalition they would never return. Conquest died a hero's death. Anissa watched Mark with visible pride and excitement. The veteran Viltrumites were given one final mission: locate Thragg's body to confirm his death. But when they searched, the body was nowhere to be found. Deep inside a drifting, lifeless planet, a severely weakened Thragg crawled into a dark cave. A mysterious blue tentacled entity enveloped him, offering the fallen regent a second chance at rebirth and revenge. Earth had survived the conquest, but the most dangerous Viltrumite was still alive.